Okay, so taking the first impressions of the case, straight away you can see that it's got this wow factor. The whole thing is made out of chrome. Deep down it is a Zalman Z-Machine, which is a fantastic case, comes with really, really good cooling. But what Boogie Bug have actually done is blinged it up. They've added chrome to the whole of the exterior. So you can see the top, the front, the sides, everything is chromed out. And, well, it really does give the wow factor, but there are some downsides as well, which mainly is when you touch it, you're going to leave fingerprints, hand marks, and it is going to attract dust like a magnet. So it's a bit of weighing up the pros and cons as to if you want something that's going to, make you go wow every time you see it, and sort of make your friends think, wow, this guy's case is really, really nice, or having the downside of collecting dust, fingerprints, marks, and all sorts, which you may be able to see. There are a couple scattered over the case where we've actually just got it out of the packaging. You can see that there's some marks already. The front of the case is quite simple, and you can actually take it off with these 4 Allen key points, and don't worry because you do actually get a supplied Allen key with it. You can see that there are 4 optical drive bays and also a floppy drive or sort of memory card, multimedia bay, whatever actually fits into that particular size. The initial first bay is actually taken out for you because they do assume that most people have got one optical drive bay. We can see that at the middle there's sort of this split panel, like a groove that actually lies in there, and this is where some of your main functions are. So we've got a power button, we also have various different activity LEDs, a reset button, a microphone 3.5mm port, a 3.5mm jack for your headphones, 2 USB ports, and also a firewire port. Now just below this you can see this cutout panel down here, which does incorporate 2 92mm fans, and they are LED activity fans. So once this is all powered up, which we will show you later, you'll be able to see exactly how this is going to look once it's all powered up, and especially how funky it looks at night. So now taking a quick look at the side of the case, more specifically the left hand side, we can see that there are sort of 2 panels in a way. You've got this panel with this sort of smoked window, so you can see exactly what's going on inside of the case, and then we've got this side which is just pure chrome. Now these have got thumb screws on there, so if we proceed to take these off, take the second one off and the last one. So a nice toolless design there, and once you've done that you can then flip this part open, which will reveal all of your optical drive bays with the installation mechanisms and your hard drive bays with the installation mechanisms, and then you can swing this open, which swings all the way around to the back, and you can see exactly what the interior of the case looks like, which we will delve into a little bit later on. Okay, so now taking a look at the right hand side, very, very similar design with this split design. So you've got this panel and then the second panel, but this time, because they know that you're not really going to take this off because there is no room for cable management, you'll find that it hasn't got thumb screws, instead it has Allen key bolts. So this one we can actually already open, which gives you room to the for the mechanism of the installation of optical drives and hard drives. And then if we use this supplied Allen key, we can continue to take the Allen key bolts out. I've already taken the majority out, so there's only 2 left in here. If we take them out, once we've taken them out, you can actually remove this whole panel. Now this whole panel actually has motherboard standoffs on it already pre-supplied, which is really, really nice, and it gives you a view of exactly what the interior is like from this side. Now taking a look at the back of the case, we can see that the chrome styling follows here as well. You can see where the power supply would go. Now it's entirely up to you how you mount the power supply. We generally use thumb screws that we've just got laying around. It just makes our lives a lot easier when taking sort of components in and out. So for us, we use thumb screws, but it does come with the supplied sort of normal screws, so that's entirely up to you what you use. You can see exactly where the I/O panel would go, and there are 7 expansion slots that we'd expect on a case of this size, and there is also another fan at the back, a rear exhaust fan. Now this has got a nice little grille over it as well, and it is 120mm, and once again it is an activity LED just like the front. We can see that Boogie Bug haven't really taken away from Zalman, so they have left the logos on there for the Z-Machine, and also the Zalman logos down the bottom with their slogan. And we can also see that they have actually added on their own logo for dub style. Taking a look inside the case, we can see straight away where the motherboard standoffs are all in place on the back panel, which we showed is fairly easy to take off. It's just a little bit time consuming in regards to the Allen keys. But you can see that it will accept micro ATX as well as standard ATX motherboards. We can see the 7 expansion bays have all got thumb screws for easy installation of your expansion cards. Now, there is some good news. You will find that this case accepts most graphics cards such as 6950, some of the GTX 5 series from Nvidia, but sadly due to the sort of drive bay getting in the way, if it was just a little bit further this way you'd be able to fit a 6990 in, but the way it stands at the moment, no way you'll be able to fit a 6990 inside of this case. Optical drive bays are fairly simple to install. You can see that we've got the various different drive bays here, and they have got a funky sort of installation mechanism. So instead of using your screws and your screwdriver, you'd literally slide the drive through the front, and then these just sort of pop into place and screw down. Very, very simple indeed. Now with hard drives, it's quite a unique design, I've got to say. It's got these sort of poles or tubes with rubber bits on there, and it's a matter of getting your hard drive. We're just going to see what it's like with an old mechanical style hard drive. Pop it into place like so and push in. Now you've got this little bit which is just sort of freely moving, so it's a matter of getting this screw, taking it out of its holder and rotating this round until you find your screw hole. Once you've done that, you can continue to screw that down, and it actually screws the whole tube and locking mechanism down so that it moves, but very, very sort of, it's not freely at all like these ones. You can see it's quite solid, and the reason that they've got rubber on there is just to help with sort of anti-vibration properties, because mechanical style hard drives like this can get very noisy. When installing SSDs is a very simple matter, which is very much the same. Generally you'll find with SSDs they come with some sort of bracket to convert it from their standard 2.5 inch size up to a 3.5 inch size, just like a mechanical hard drive. Once you've installed the actual SSD into the bracket, you can continue to install it much like this. For those of you who have got sort of mass amounts of storage, you have got extra storage down here, which is just a matter of taking these little anti-vibration sort of screws off and installing them onto your hard drive. And once you've done that, it will look much like this with the anti-vibration screws on each corner. Now it's just a matter of pulling these bits out, pushing the flap over, and then getting your drive and just sliding it into place like so. Once you've done that, you can continue to pull the lock back over and into place like so, and the drive will not move anywhere. So now we've actually built everything up into the system, so what we're going to do is just turn it on and you'll be able to see exactly how it will look. As you can see, we've got some extremely bright blue LED fans at the front, 92mm, and you should be able to actually pick up some of the noise that they are generating. We've got them plugged in via the sort of free fan pin to Molex connector, just so we can plug everything on. But depending on your motherboard, you may find that you can just plug the 3 pins straight onto your motherboard, which is going to make them a little bit quieter, because right now, I'll be honest with you, it's pretty damn loud. And now that we've turned it around, you can see that the blue fan at the back is actually sending a nice little glow down into the centre of the case, and through the sort of smoked window you can see exactly the effect of that. And because of the motherboard we're using, there are various different sort of LEDs and things on there as well, which is all going to be sort of eye candy for you through the window of the case. Now one thing I will admit is, you have to bear with me because I'm completely out of breath. I mean, this thing weighs a ton on its own, but once it's got all the bits and bobs in there, it is so heavy. I mean, we've got a 1200 watt power supply, which isn't exactly the smallest. Sandy Bridge P67 motherboard, a mechanical hard drive, a 6950, and I tell you, just moving it from side to side so you can see the front, the side and the back, I'm a little bit worn out. I feel like I've had sort of a year's worth of exercise in literally about a minute. But I digress. Either way, looking at the back you can see the rear exhaust fan emitting that blue LED that we saw actually coming through from the side, and it does look extremely nice. Obviously if you want to change these fans out for something else, you can just undo this grill, take the fan out and exchange it for exactly what you want. And now for the last time before it kills me, I have turned it round again, and we're just going to unscrew the thumb screws, and you can see exactly how great my cable tidying skills are. Admittedly, I've got people who work for me who are a lot better, we won't say their name, but Chris. He's a lot better at cable tidying than me, but he's not here, so I've had to do it myself. But this isn't the greatest case for cable tidying, because there's no room at the back on the other side of the case to do anything. So if we open this up, there you can see the front fans, blue LEDs, and you can see the sort of reasonable job that I've done with cable tidying. And opening this up will reveal everything else and how it actually comes together. So you can see we have our 6950, which I can't even get my finger down the end of that because of how close it is to the hard drive cage. It's very large, so you're not going to be able to fit anything bigger than a 6950 in there. NVIDIA wise, you'd have to check the measurements and sort of see. We haven't got any cards at the moment to test, so we can't really show you that. But you can see there's quite a lot of room underneath, so you could, if you wanted, fit some sort of aftermarket cooling down there. But if you are going to use it for the storage devices, you've got all of the relevant bits and bobs there. The CPU cooler, it's not a huge one that we're using, but it is. We have got quite a lot of clearance between the top of the cooler and where the actual side of the case comes on. Power supplies wise, that's a 1200 watt tough power cable management, and it is an extremely large power supply, and yet there's still a lot of room to actually get the cables and connectors in. Being a modular power supply, we have managed to install the power supply, then put in the modular leads afterwards. You don't have to sort of put them in before because there's no room. You can actually quite freely get to everything. There's lots of clearance over the memory as well, so no sort of cooling issues there, and also over your VRMs, your MOSFETs and that sort of area. There's loads of room around here for cooling. So yes, there is no room for cable management, but there is a lot of room for air to flow around. So the air is going to come in here, come up to here and exhaust out, which is really nice. And you can see that the CD drive is nicely in position as well. Hard drive, you can see exactly how it's been installed into here. So hopefully that's given you an idea as to what this case is like from the exterior, the interior, and what it's like to install real world components into there to see if it's the right case for you. Hopefully that has given you an idea of whether this case is right for you or not. Some people who will be wanting cable management, I'll be honest, this case isn't for you, but if you are just wanting a case that has got really good airflow, weighs an absolute ton and costs quite a bit, then definitely this is the one to go for. And it also gives you the bragging rights to your friends that you've got a chrome case.